Hello, everyone. Thanks for listening to Wake Up, Look Up, a podcast where we connect events happening in real time to the gospel of Jesus Christ. I'm Zach Wyrock. In this episode, we're talking about hidden Airbnb cameras, and we're asking the question, is your privacy safe? And if it sounds like from the title, this is going to be an uncomfortable episode, that's because it will be. I was blown away this week when I read a story in the New York Times about a Texas couple that checked into an Airbnb and found a hidden camera in the bedroom. When they let Airbnb know that they had found the camera as they were leaving the property, the company told them that they would take some next steps, but that their first step would be to contact the host and get their side of the story. When the couple told them they did not want that to happen because they wanted to be done with the host and done with the property, Airbnb said it couldn't move forward. So the couple instead went to law enforcement, who raided the property and found over 2,000 images that had been taken in the last year in that property's bedroom. That's a disturbing story. It's even more disturbing when you look into the facts, because what you're going to find is it's not as singular as you might have hoped it would be. It's not just one bad actor as an Airbnb host. By the way, that guy was a superhost, Airbnb's highest level. But actually, this is a massive problem for the company. There have been 35,000 support tickets filed with Airbnb related to hidden cameras or hidden photography being taken without the customer knowing. 35,000. The reason why you haven't heard about a lot of these instances is because Airbnb tends to settle these things with some kind of gag order in place. In fact, the New York Times article that I read was only informed statistically by court depositions, lawsuits that had not been settled and had resulted in Airbnb employees testifying. And what they said during their testimony is startling. For example, it is company policy when hidden cameras are found to contact the host, not law enforcement. That essentially is giving someone who's taken hidden cameras and getting information and images from their clients a chance to destroy the evidence before law enforcement would come along. Airbnb is not held criminally responsible for cameras because they don't technically own the properties, whereas a hotel would be held responsible. They typically are not. In fact, Airbnb tells you on their own website that you cannot trust the background checks that they do of their hosts entirely, including, and they specifically label this, sex offender registries. They cannot promise you that the host of your property is not on a sex offender registry. There are also things like violent crimes, murder, rape, terrorism, molestation. These are not grounds for automatic dismissal as an Airbnb host or automatic refusal of someone applying. Those are staggering things to actually say out loud, let alone read. Now, on April 30th of this year, in response to lawsuits, Airbnb enacted a policy saying that hidden cameras were not acceptable on the inside of their properties. Of course, that policy can't really be enforced, though, because Airbnb doesn't check each property and, in fact, doesn't have the staff or ownership of the property to even enact such a policy. By and large, what I'm telling you is that when you stay at an Airbnb, you are not quite as safe as you might have hoped. And the same goes, I would assume, for other similar kinds of companies. Now, the point of this podcast is simply two things. One is to let you know this, to let you know that your family needs to be careful where you decide to stay over the course of your vacation, that you might want to look around the property and make sure that your family is safe. When I think about where my family has stayed, I don't just think about myself or my wife, but even my children. I have teenage daughters that I don't want to end up on the internet because of where I decided to stay on our family vacation. But here's the second point. Why don't we already know about this? How can it be that this story wasn't the headline of the websites that we go to or the news programming that we watch? The reality is that our news outlets tend to be so focused on politics, one side yelling at the other side about whatever they're yelling about that day, that the stories that really impact us end up getting buried. Make sure you're paying attention as you take seriously God's command on your life to take care of your children, to protect your family, and to protect each other. Let's make sure we're not only paying attention, but that we're sharing these kinds of stories so that we can make informed decisions. Summer should be time for memories, good ones, not the bad ones that come with finding out you were being filmed the whole time. Hey, thanks for watching this episode of Wake Up Look Up. While you're here, make sure you click like and subscribe so you get future content from Wake Up Look Up. And hey, leave a comment below letting us know what you thought or interacting in some way with what you just watched. I'd love a chance to talk with you more in the comment section. And also, while you're here, check out all the other content CCC puts out, including the videos that are around me right now.